Um, here's here's my here's what came through to do today here at Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is this incredible node. It is considered by the Wintu people here as literally where the world was created. It's the central node on Earth. So it's a creative node. It's where the world is created. Um, it's seen as a feminine mountain. I was here the other day. I didn't know that. I was like, oh my God, it's so feminine. It's soft. It's utterly quiet. It feels like I don't know if you feel it with me, but it has this um, incredible depth to it, to her. And she reminds me, some photos of her, she looks like the mountain in Moana, Te Fiti. And Moana, if you all know the story, she returns the heart of Te Fiti. And in order to do that, she has to go through Takar, which is like Kali. It's the rage of the harmed feminine. And in loving and meeting Takar, Te Fiti is remembered. And this Mount Shasta feels like the heart of Te Fiti. It feels like a central node, like a womb for all of the earth. And I didn't know why I was coming to Mount Shasta. I never know what I'm doing. Just FYI. Um, I I go where I'm told to go, where I feel to go. So I've been in Ireland recently. I've been in Joshua Tree and Desert Hot Springs and Yosemite and Sequoia National Park, and just receiving messages. And it's all messages from the one mind. It's just one mind and one body. So I'm a node, and you're a node, and I'm really just dictating, a benevolent dictator, what we are saying, what we are remembering. And Moana got that message, right? It was like, I have to do this. I need to do this. And that's what we all get. We all get this message, and we are all benevolent dictators underneath our conditioning. We all dictate a beautiful world. We all are coded for fulfillment and deeply connected to the womb of creation. So I didn't know why I was coming to Mount Shasta, but it feels like it's it's closing a cycle or part of a cycle, in which I've been talking about homecoming. So coming home to ourselves, coming home to who we really are as source, coming home to ourselves as creators, and then the world coming home to each other, to remember we're all one people, it's one family, it's one home. And so we had the homecoming event in San Francisco, and all over the world, folks did these beautiful live streams, and we landed this homecoming node. We sort of came home. And then it was a shared experience. The word homecoming, though, it has this process in it. And I've gotten tripped up on that so many times, because as a creator, the job is actually to have created. It isn't to keep kicking the can down the road in a process in ing. So I want to speak from home, from what it looks like here at the house being the whole world. And I want to speak about it as what's already occurred, what's already happened. Not as something that's happening, not as something that's happening in a future, but something that's happened. Because time is just a mental trip here. And so it's just this one moment in time. And I can rewrite the past now. I can benevolently dictate and cast a spell of a whole new and a whole ancient remembrance, a truth about who we are and what's happening here, what's happened. So I'm going to work to get these words right, to talk about the occurrence. So I wanna be here at Mount Shasta at this birthplace and describe the world in her totality, in her remembrance, in her, um, having come home. And I'll ask for your assistance with that. But and so if you need to think of it as I'm putting us in a future that's already occurred, or I'm rewriting the past, or I whatever it is, it's, um, it's a description of what is, not what will be. So, I hope that makes sense, um, and yeah, it's a dictation of, like just a dictation, a speaking out of what is already the case. So it's not a so even the word creator isn't quite right because, I mean, we are creators because we are the creative, we are God, we are goddess, we create. But it's already encoded what we want. So, like, I use this example all the time. If when I get hungry and I want food, my body wants a particular kind of food, and that's already done. And then I can be right at that pen tip, fully embodied and honoring what life has written in terms of what I fully want. I can stop short. I can give myself half of what I want. I can compromise. I can do all these other things. But that's not the code we're wired with. The code we're wired with, every single being on earth is wired for fulfillment. And humans are the only ones that have this funky little twist where we stop ourselves short. So so I'm writing, I'm dictating the fullness of being that is meant to be. And I'm speaking of it as a matriarch, as a woman of the house who is wired to see the bigger picture. We all have that wiring, but women have it, are more loaded with it, let's say, because we have wombs. We are part of we are closest to the womb of creation. And children too, because children are right there. There's no conditioning. There's very little conditioning. The veil is thin. But where we're headed as a world is everyone returns to being as children, seeing from this benevolent dictation from the eyes of the mother, of awake awareness, of aware consciousness, and creating only fulfillment. So I'm going to speak as a mother, seeing in her house the fulfillment of all of her family. I'm going to talk about our house as it already is, um, because we who are remembering first, we the women, um, yeah, we who remember are meant to dictate first, and then that triggers everyone's remembrance, and then your inner benevolent dictator, it creates this decentralized web of power with instead of power over, not hierarchies, synarchies, heterarchies, where everyone has this beautiful awakened code to total fulfillment. So that's what I'm going to speak about. So imagine with me, here we already are. The house is open. The world is ours again. And we are in our fulfillment. I'm just going to describe the scene. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so Mount Shasta is also a place of death and rebirth. The Shasta people, the Wintu people, the Modoc people, the Klamath people all see her as an alive node, also part of volcanic intelligence all over the world, a node in a web of a deep intelligence like Takar, like the both a volcano of explosion and burning and destruction, and of course this very alive birthplace. So every word spoken here and every ceremony done has both creation and destruction in it. It has this sacred creation story, I guess you could say. So I'm feeling, I always have a sense of joy and like excitement and expansion doing a live stream and being with y'all. And today there's a special like a deep reverence as well, a reverence for the many, many people who come before me for what this mountain is, what she represents, and for the web of creation that I am just one node of. So um, maybe we can just pause and feel that together because it really feels. It feels like I wonder if you can feel it with me. It feels like an enormously wide channel, like um, like a portal, and yeah, that I'm simply just channeling. I'm just channeling. I'm just um, yeah, speaking from the one mind. Okay, so here we are in the new and ancient earth. Here at the house. Here at the house, everyone in the family, so everyone in this realm, everyone in the world, remembered themselves as source, or remembered themselves as creators, remembered their true nature, our true nature, as the creators of whatever we want here. That this is a playground and everything is for our enjoyment, not to take from, not to extract from, not to play a game of separation and dominance, zero sum games, all of that old stuff. Now we play a positive sum game where everyone wins. And everyone wins because we remember, oh, we're all one family. We remember we are source, pure awake awareness. We remember we are family. There's no one who isn't a family member. We remembered we are one with nature, with the earth herself. We are made of her. And so there is no violence because there is no sense or story of separation between us and God. So there's no spiritual teachers anymore. Those guys all dissolved. Because what's to teach once it's remembered? In fact, teaching isn't really a thing. It's just remembrance. We have guides who point out what is, and then it's remembered. But teaching isn't really how we do it anymore. There's not really a classroom because class has been dissolved. There's not school or work. It's all play. So work equals play, school equals play, learning equals play. All has become play. And in that, we naturally share in the way that one body one body shares all the blood, shares all of the fluid, shares all of the nervous system, shares the electrical impulses, shares the fat and protein and nutrients. It's equally distributed automatically because it's remembered as one. So that's how the earth looks. Is you could call it a play cosmology, an open source ecology, a sharing economy, which is really just to describe the natural balance that occurs in form when we remember who we are, when we remember that we're connected, that there is no separation. So if you look across the landscape, no matter where you look, everyone is seen as family and remembers each other as family. Every home is everyone's home. All the doors are open and there are no locks. There is no need for safety. The whole world is safe. And it was made safe by men who stepped up and protected women and children. They remembered that was the job of the male side of the species, is to create a protective barrier around women and children. And so men, I don't know if you remember the story, men stepped up en masse. A couple men stepped up in public and said what was true, that women and children needed protection. And then they stepped up and did it. They also remembered that women and children went first, that there, in all of it being one and in equal, there is, however, a spatial and an ordinal organization. And they remembered ordinally, women go first. The oxygen mask idea. When women are resourced first, and that was through money, that was through attention, because resource is just this source, attention, awareness, awake awareness. The attention all went to the women, who then, of course, attended to the children. Men remembered, oh, yes, women go first, women and children first. And so they poured their attention into the women. They poured their resource. They poured their labor. And women no longer had to do men's labor. Men did the labor. And then as women bloomed and remembered, everything bloomed. So there was this return of the right order, the right ordinal relationship. And then everything like a river just opening and every waterway replenishing the land. That's what happened when women being first was remembered. And the men who stood up and stood up for us, stood with women and said so in public and put their bodies on the line in public. They made us safe. And no men harmed women and children because they knew they would be taken care of by men, protected us. By being taken care of, I mean actually being cared for. That the only reason men have done so much harm in this world is because they were first harmed. They were first turned into slaves. White men were the first enslaved, the first harmed. They have the longest trauma. And so they remembered, oh, this isn't right. I'm not meant to work for the man. I'm meant to work, or rather play, for women. And when they remembered that in public and spoke about it in public and benevolently dictated in public that they stood for women and children and that they would protect us no matter what, they would put their bodies on the line, no other men dared to harm a woman or child again. It was this mass remembrance. And then everywhere was safe because all the men knew they weren't going to get away with it. And because we work in this ordinal way, the new leadership among men were the ones who protected and resourced women and children the most. Those are the leaders among men. And the men who did the most harm to women and children wanted to be like them because they saw, oh, we get access to women and children. We are more loved. We get more resourced. We win more the more we pour into them. And so everything flipped. Instead of the men leading who extracted the most from women and children, it was the men who gave the most and who protected us and who went first, who put themselves on the line. So that occurred. And then violence was a thing of the past. We forgot that we ever believed we were separate, that there were separate tribes. Racism dissolved. This idea of race, of a race, like we're racing, we're competing with together, as if there's little dividing lines. That was all gone. All isms disappeared. And so we just saw ourselves as different shades of wheat, different shades of human. We were just relative melanation. And we saw there was no classism. We saw that all people were equal, no matter how much resource they had. There was no Zionism. There is no Zionism. There's no idea. We lost the idea of a future perfect world. And in that, Zion was remembered as right here, right now. So this all occurred. And it was so beautiful to watch because the remembrance was like click, 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 click. And it happened so quickly. We were it was a bit stunning. It was like there's some folks coming by. It was like as like an unraveling of all of this like we'd all been mummified. We'd all been kind of like zombies walking around with these isms, with these stories of separation. And then in this remembrance, oh, right, this is how it's supposed to go. This is what it's meant to look like. This is who I am. This is how it goes. Just generations and generations of distortion fell away. It was like waking up from a dream, a nightmare. And healing, waking, this process, it doesn't have to be a process. It's literally like this. When you wake up from a dream, you wake up like that. Oh, it wasn't real. So we woke up from men leading. Oh no, right. Women are meant to lead, which just means ordinally first. Just means ordinally first. Primordial of Zion, Nicholas said, it's like a wolf pack where the female is leading, the children are in the middle, and the male has got the back, is protecting the pack at the back. I use the ship metaphor where it's like women at the captain's wheel and children in the middle of the boat and men at the back. Watching from behind, bringing up the rear. There's also a thing called a Janus, which is feminine and masculine equal, but the feminine is in the front and the masculine is in the back. That's all. Now, it doesn't mean men don't lead, but it's a relative leadership. And here's the thing that occurred where when the right order occurred, there was so much flow, and so there is so much flow in our life and in our livelihood that we forgot kind of who goes first because there's so much abundance and so much joy and so much play and so much flow and expansion that that it it's it's like we don't have to stop anymore and like reorder. It's just flowing. So it was this moment where the order shifted and we didn't need to do it again because everything got back in right organization. The feminine was remembered not just as in women going first, but the body, the fullness of our full selves. Men remembered their body, they reconnected with their body. All of us reconnected with our full body. So we remembered, oh, I am that awake awareness that's always here, that is the dreamer of the dream. And that's the same awareness everywhere, looking out of my eyes as yours. I remember my body and that she, he, they never, ever, ever steers me wrong. I remembered I'm connected to all my sisters and brothers, all my siblings, and we work together as a divine orchestra, as one organism. I remembered I am part of the earth, and she, he, they know exactly where I should go at what time and where are my homesteads. All of it works so orchestrally. And we remembered. And the domino effect of those first rememberers was so potent, so incredible. It happened in an instant. Now, who those people were, who those men especially were, who supported women in public, who stood up and put themselves in their right position, you'll have to write that one. You'll have to dictate that one. Who was it? Who was put in the history books as the men who announced their allegiance to women leading and their commitment to protecting us, to protecting women and children, their commitment to bringing up the rear? Who were those men? Who were those men? We're going to have to check the check the report. You'll have to write that in. But it happened, and they unleashed the holy masculine, the sacred masculine that was so happy to return to his position as the protector and supporter and gifter of the feminine. And he received so much in return. It was his own. Each man received his own flood. So that's what happened. And we stopped playing any zero-sum games. There is some light competition. It goes like this. It's like men have fun kind of competing for women's attention, like who makes the best sandwiches or who grew the juiciest tomato or bakes the best sourdough bread or has the most sexy poem, those guys. It's just sort of fun. But it's all positive sum. So one man's poem sparks another man's poem, sparks another man's song, sparks another woman's painting, sparks another child's fort sparks, and it just goes on and on and on and like that. So competition is just a fun thing. It's all to inspire one another because, of course, we're we're we work together. We were never meant to be opposed. Opposition inside of a body makes no sense. Makes no sense. So we forgot that we ever did that we ever pretended we were separate and in opposition, and we remembered we are all one. So that happened, and then the house was just really, 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 really fun. It's just really fun here at the house. And there's not really rules. There's just guidelines to remember. When in doubt, ask a woman or a child what they need. Ask the woman what's needed. The men do that, and it gets back in order. Gets back in order. And oh yeah, the men who stepped forward, they started with the women and children in their lives. They asked them what they needed, how they could best be of service. They asked them how they could make it right. And women asked their children too. Everyone asked, I have a debt to pay. Do I have a debt to pay with you? And then they made it right. And women told the men what we needed. And they gave it to us. And it was divine. And then that sparked the whole reorganization. It was a big reorg. And then everything was opened up, and it's one big playground. So now we just travel and we build our homes, and we really appreciate the infrastructure that men created. That was majority men, although a lot of these ideas were, of course, taken from women. They took the credit. That's okay. We really appreciate the infrastructure, and we had everything we needed, and then we just started building and building and building really cool natural designs, palatial estates, and natural pools and beautiful gardens, and everything became a garden and now is a garden. And everyone feels at home. And the folks who caused a lot of the trouble in the old world, who caused the most harm, they were sequestered for a bit. They were quarantined for a bit, only so that they could heal and given tender, loving care by other men and women. And until they remembered that they too were meant for fulfillment and didn't want to cause any harm, and repaid their debt and loved repaying their debt. It was really a beautiful thing to witness that shift. When those first men came forward, they showed the way of how to repay the debt, how to honor the folks that they'd harmed. And then even the folks we never thought would be redeemed, we never thought they would wake up and repay their debt, they did. They did. And they became, they just joined the table and joined the party with everybody. But it did take those first men to step forward and to put themselves on the line. And then they showed the way. So yeah, so it's just one big playground, and we have a really good time. And yeah, maybe you guys can. You see, I took some more note. I took some notes. Um, yeah, there's no harm. There's no harm. It's all just safe. It's all safe, and it's all for the sake of itself, for the fun of it, for the beauty of it, for the fulfillment of it. We are all back tapped in to the creator self that only creates beauty and joy and fulfillment. There's nothing else that we are built to create. There's no exception there. And to have remembered that, en masse, all of us remembering it is like, well, it is. It's heaven on earth. It is. The queendom of heaven is at hand. We just forgot. So, and that womb, the womb of creation, the feminine base of creation, that awareness looking out of your eyes is the womb, is the creator. And she wants what's best for her child, for you as form. She only is going to deliver, you only deliver treasure for yourself and for everyone else. Every single child does that, so that, and you were a child. You are a child at base. You are innocence and benevolence at base. And when remembered, when tapped back into, it is just joy after joy after joy, fun after fun after fun. So that's the scene at the house. That's the scene. Home, already home. Done deal. The house has been cleaned up, reorganized, and renovated, and deeply enjoyed. That's the world we remembered back into form, back into being. And yeah, anything else y'all want to fill in? Good morning, Bob. Hi, Lamar. Snap. Always wanted to go. Yes, I'm at Mount Shasta. Yes, yes. You had one job, men. Thank you. Thank you, Leon. You had one job. Well, this is it. This is it. Men remembered. Home at last. Home at last. Good morning. Men remembered. Men remembered. Protect and honor women. And it wasn't right. We were so coded with opposition. Men say this all the time. It's like, well, what about men? It's like, yes, of course. What about men? They project that the way they've treated women is the way women are going to treat them. No, 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 no. We remembered that a garden cannot bloom unless you plant in the soil, unless you water the soil, unless you give to the earth. Women are the earth. We are the soil. We are the seed in the soil, the egg in the womb. And the masculine is the sun and the air. And the waters, they pour into us, and then they benefit from the garden. So, but we've had it where women's labor is planting seeds in the air. It's like planting in men, but nothing blooms. Everything dies. So remember, men remembered they had one job: give to the women in their lives, and ask the women what they need. Don't project the amount of men who used to. I'm going to speak in past tense. If you guys remember the podcast bros, where they would do this thing where they would talk to each other about what women want and how to get us to like them. They talked for years about this and about how to denigrate us and and get us to submit so that they could lead, and then I don't know. I mean, it was all just nonsense. But they did this thing, and they never bothered to ask us because they didn't see us as real people. But when they did, when they attuned, so taking all that beautiful source awareness and attuning to the feminine, tuning to women. What do you need, women? What can I offer you? What can I give you? How can I support you? What do you need? And then the flood just pouring it into us. Whew, whew. First of all, they got laid again. First of all. But secondly, everything is just like it was like, oh right. Oh, right. That was the job. That was the job. That was the job. Right. Um it was so simple. It was so simple. But, we were just we played this backward game, you know? Yeah, they remember their one job, and everything was realigned. So thank you, Leanne. Thank you for being at the front of the line with men and remembering who women are and how this is meant to go, and supporting me personally, and yeah, giving me a voice. In resourcing men, it is like literal money, because in the world, right, we dissolved all money because who would need it? We were just sharing everything. But in the beginning, when we made the shift, all the money went through the women's hands, and all the microphones went into the women's hands. All that attention went back to women. Attention, the word attention, attention. No more tension, no more stress when the resources go through the women's hands. So when the one job is to give us your resource, right? Your attention, literal attention, your labor, your money, your focus, your service, and then watch it come back to you a thousandfold. So that happened. That happened. See, watch how it's like moving in and out of tenses, but it it has occurred. It has occurred. It is done. It is done. It is done, as we like to say. So that's what it is. It's asking the women around you, remembering that we are full beings and we know what we want. We know what's best for us. We also know what's best for you. Not to say, not that we will dictate that, but when we honor ourselves, when we are given all the resource we need and attention we need, and treated with the reverence and the care, men forgot, and then they remembered that they are the caring ones. They are the tender, loving, caring ones. As Lorenzo said long ago, a strong man is a soft man, is a man, yes, who will protect us, but who is in service, is caring, is provides care. So, and care, of course, includes physical protection. But um, yeah, so they remembered to talk to women and to listen, and to amplify our voice, and to amplify everything. And then we amplified everything else. We gave the gift of life back to the world. When everything funnels through the feminine, right, through the soil, that's how it grows. That's how it grows. When it starts with the masculine, it can't grow. So it's just a matter of order. It's just a matter of order. So the masculine pouring into the feminine, and we just grow and grow and grow and thrive. Yeah. And men remembered. And do you remember remembering how fun it is to honor women, to lift us up, to pour into us, to be around us? You know, I've had men say it's like heaven being around you. But then they would say things like, well, I won't name names, but it's like they came in and out of coming out of consciousness. Like, it's like heaven being around you, but then what's in it for me? It's like, what's in it for you And this is just um, the habit of being deprived, because really men deprived themselves. So pouring into women, we will not deprive you. We will not, as the matriarch never deprives the family. Not if she's filled, or her cup is filled. I had the image the other day of like f- filling the cups of women is like it's like a champagne fountain, right? Where you just fill the first cup, and then we'll fill everyone, everyone. It's not really below us, but it's just this flood occurs, and all the cups are filled and overflowing and overflowing. Um, So, but we've been like filling these cups along the periphery instead of the center. It's more like a center, it's like a flat plane. It's more like the center, and then it moves outward. So you fill the central node, and then it's outward, and that's the feminine. Um, so, but when men remembered, and then they are just flooded, right, by the shine of the feminine when they pour into us. So the great remembrance occurred, and It was it was it turned on this fulcrum of these men. Oh my god. Oh my god. What do you need, women? What can I give you? What can I offer you? To the women and children closest to them, and then at scale, um, these men returned what they've stolen. And it was so fun to watch. It was so fun to watch men come into their remembrance of how much joy they have giving to women. How much joy they have being around women, how much joy they have in watching women enjoy. They just basked in our glow, and they continue to bask in our glow. And they created that. They created that by pouring into us. They created the garden by returning the resources that were taken. They became creators, right with women. It's been said that it was a destiny swap or a karmic swap where men are trying to be the creators, right? God, the creator, is a man, and we were born of Adam's rib as if there was no womb, versus God being goddess, being the womb, being the woman. But then men forgot their own creative capacity, and that they are too are of the womb. They too are goddess. As Nicholas and I were talking about, we're all XX and XY, right? We're all of the feminine. We're all of the womb. We are all of source. And so that they become, as women, as creators, as the womb, when they pour into women. That's how they become as powerful as we are, by merging with us, not by mimicking us. And that was remembered, and it was beautiful. And the gratitude and the joy that came out of women to the men who remembered and poured into us. My goodness, they really, those first men were. Whew. Whew. Yeah, they were poured into. They were poured into as well. Yes. Harold says men destroyed much of our history involving women leaders. Thanks, popes. Yeah, totally. All of the beautiful matrilineal and matriarchal cultures that that thrived were erased. And of course, the Sophia, the mother of Christ, was erased. The Magdalene, Yeshua's partner and his teacher, Mary, who was a teacher, Joseph, who was the father who served his family, erased. A real divine masculine, the masculine in form that created the Christ, that showed the way. All of those erased for the mimicry. Um, yes, the middleman to goddess is all spiritual teachers, and they all went away. They all disappeared. We all realized we didn't need a middleman. No popes, no teachers, no Sadhguru, no Eckhart Tolle, no, none of them. They all just, because we realized there was no middleman. There was no arbiter of God. We all are she. They are all she. Yes, all of that was remembered. And the order just went flip, 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 flip. And it was just this mass deference to women's leadership. And we just like, it was just like, that in those first days, the open source directory that we had hundreds and hundreds of people with their blueprints for creating open source communities. They were just flooded with resource, and it was just pop, 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 pop. These communities started thriving. They were so fun. Everybody wanted to join. So then there was just the wealth dump. The wealth dump would just be like this, like wealth bombs dropping on these communities. And these women, we had this thing where it was like, we had so much money and so much resource and so much we wanted to build. It was like the only challenge was in like getting the name of the woman in, the connection in Cameroon who would be able to, open the bank account to make sure that whole village was resourced and her vision was created. And it was just that. It was just the challenge of of how to release these funds most efficiently. It was a really, really fun challenge where everybody on the planet was rich, um, because the right source was remembered, the right holder of the resource was remembered. Yeah, yeah. Those were really fun days. When we remembered en masse. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." And then the billionaire men, the legion of white men who were first harmed, right? They remembered like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not a machine. I'm not a cog in a machine. I'm I'm of the feminine. I wanna just hang out with women. I wanna have fun. I wanna play again. I wanna play on this planet." And they just released all the funds. Oh my god, that was really, 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 really fun. Oh, there's a bird. Large bird, what are you? We get the birds visiting. I was here the other day, I said this on a video. Oh, I didn't ever post the video. It's 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 noisier today because there's people, but when I was here by myself, kinda scoping it out, and I've never been in a quieter spot ever. It was so quiet, and, so I thought a plane was coming by, and it was a bird. It was like a mid-sized black bird. I don't know if it didn't look like a crow or a raven. Um, it was kinda high up. It sounded like a plane. The wind under the wings was so loud. I've never heard the sound of a bird so loud. It was, like, amplified. That's what I mean, like, this is like an amplifier. I feel like I'm in some amplification node. It's just wild. Already being rich, the Western world uses resources at an astounding rate. This sort of consumption isn't sustainable. Yes, exactly. We, we we all that consumptiveness went away because sharing was remembered. And so so ownership was dissolved, um, consumptiveness was dissolved, everything turned back into a garden, and we laughed that we ever believed money was real. But in those early days, money was just used, and it was sorta like there was this hierarchy. It's like the champagne glasses, these women received the money and then just distributed it. So it was like a temporary hierarchy and a temporary use of money to redistribute, and then that flywheel just got going, and the natural order, the rivers and the waters just were flowing. Um, but yeah, this like, taking more than we hoarding was seen as so insane. It was the insanity that it was, that we would hoard resources as if a body can eat $1 billion worth of food, as if, it was all woken up from just, "Oh my god, right, money isn't real, borders aren't real, ownership isn't real, separation isn't real, division isn't real, opposition isn't real, competition isn't real. All of these isms aren't real." Oh, oh. We remembered Zion back into existence.
Yeah, around there.
Mount Shasta is the finale of my book too. Oh, very cool, Steph. Nice to be remembering that my son with special needs, who will need the care of his parents for as long as we live together, is truly a gift, and caring for him and his mother is my fulfillment. Thank you, Randolph. Thank you for remembering that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I know that that wasn't remembered. Just recently remembered, but exactly. It is your joy. It is your joy and your fulfillment to care for women and children, and especially the ones close to you. Which doesn't mean, by the way, that most of us are in, like, the vast majority, because the world's been so backward, the vast majority of us have been or are in, were in, I'm gonna keep using the past tense, relationships that were out of alignment. And so, by the way, the other cool thing that was remembered were all the natural divine matches that were just we just, like, walked toward each other like like penguins or lobsters or swans. We just like birds. And, because it was, because it's actually the easiest, the simplest thing. We're so used to compromise, so used to effort, um, that we got into all these relationships that were all compromised for everybody. But reme but taking care of the children you have, taking care of the woman in your life actually frees everybody up to get into their full alignment. So, by pouring into, even if your marriage, for instance, isn't in alignment, it's not a real divine match, it's not like it's like you're friends, but not like my ex-husband and I were better as friends. We don't make sense to live together. We have very, very different rhythms and everything. He's a fairy, I'm a hobbit. It doesn't work. For those who don't know, there's a whole taxonomy, and that's how the pairs work. We work according to um, our kindreds. So fairies and gnomes and gnomes and hobbits, which doesn't mean we're not friends. It doesn't mean we don't share villages and all kinds of cool things. And who knows? But the, it would be like swans don't mate with wild turkeys. So um, neither are better. They're just different. But what was remembered was any caring for any woman, the woman who you had children with, how amazing. And in giving to her and in giving to them, they are resourced to be freed up to find their most alignment, and so are you. So giving to one woman doesn't take away from you finding your match. Giving to your children doesn't take away from bonding with other people, um, who you enjoy being around. Like, it isn't a zero sum. It isn't one for one. So the more you pour in to the women and children in your life, the more you receive. You just keep filling more and more cups. So that is also the very, very cool thing that was remembered. So thank you, Randolph. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing that it is your fulfillment. And that was forgotten, right? That because of the zero sum story, the scarcity story, right? My giving is taking from myself. And somebody's got to lose for somebody to win. So, as if there's only so much energy, as if there's only so much food, as if there's only so much love, as if there's only none of that's true. There's only total abundance all the time, and expanding abundance all the time. So we get into the flow of that, where the masculine gives to the feminine and to children, and then now you're in the flow. Now you're in the fulfillment flow, and there's no sense of loss. There's no sense of being taken from. That's only ever been a story. And so when men speak that in public, that it is their fulfillment to care for women and children, to pour into us, it's like, oh my gosh, the mass remembrance. Like, oh my God, of course, of course, of course. Why was I lying? Why was I lying that I didn't love that? Why did it's like I was under a spell. They were all spells. They were non-benevolent dictators who were in pain, who forgot, who were told a story of separation from God, from themselves, from the body, from women, from the feminine. And then those wounded men spoke this crazy story into existence, and we believed it. And then we became complicit in believing it. But we woke up. We woke up and oh my God. Oh my God. I was never in opposition to anything. Certainly not women and children. My goodness. They're only my total joy. Special needs son, my total joy. It's total joy to be around him. Total joy to be in service to him. Total joy to just be in his presence. Yes, yes, yes. To just be in the presence of the women in my life that I love. Yes, yes. And you can enjoy being in the presence. Like I'm like, I look forward to when my ex-husband wakes up and and remembers that he doesn't have to manipulate me. He could just enjoy me. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to witness the remembrance. So I appreciate you sharing that, Randall. Hear that, man? Hear it? Wagwan, Meg. Hi, Charles. Gosh, it's glorious being with you at Shasta. Isn't it glorious? Isn't it glorious? It's so beautiful here. You were napping, Lamar? Wonderful. Wonderful. I wonder if you'll come on. I wrote to you. I haven't looked at all my comments, but I wonder if you'll come on a live stream next week, Lamar. Home at last. Um, it's wonderful to be with y'all too. Can you feel how Mount Shasta feels? Can you feel can you hear the quiet? Actually, because there's not people around. I'm gonna be quiet for a second. I'll show you again. But listen to the quiet. Say something about my hat. Those who haven't seen this video, there does not exist. That's kind of the theme of today. There's not a future. It's already occurred. There's just here. I'm describing the scene at the house. And then Randolph describes the scene at the house. And then, you know, and Steph's book describes the scene at the house. JJ says, have you seen The Lady Wants Mink? No. No. Intrigued. It's a bird, it's a plane. No. Could you catch me up on the wonderful world you are describing? Yes, Harold. I'm describing the world post remembrance. I'm describing the world from the seat of having already remembered. Remembered who we are as source, who we are to each other as family, who we are as Earth herself, who we are as a family, that this is a playground, that we are built out for fulfillment, that women are the natural leads, and there's this natural order and flow that occurs when that happens. You know, it's not a morality thing, it's a rightness. When it's right and wrong, I think of it like a carpentry, a right angle. So when you write something, it's an alignment, right? So rightness is alignment. So in a line, right, women and children are front and center. So it's a spatial and ordinal versus hierarchical thing. So at the center, and I maybe you guys can speak to this, but I used to have this, I don't have it with me, graph where we put children at the center, then a circle of women, and then a circle of men. But I really think it's women at the center, like the mother, and then the children go to her, right? My friend Oracle has 8 children, and when I'm on the phone with her or like on a live stream that she's had live streams, it's like she's just sits and like, the kids sleep with her and stuff, that she'll just be there and then the kids come to her, you know. And then I picture the men, and of course this is all intermixed. It's not there's not like a invisible, borders or something. But there are different sort of spheres, and I would say orbits. So the woman at the center, children orbiting her, and then the men orbiting and bringing in the attention, the resources, right? And and then um, and then it's this kind of movement. And I was thinking of too of like electromagnetic. The feminine is usually associated with the magnet, and so we are meant to just be the pillars, the central figure, and then the electrons move around us. The masculine moves around. Um, so so alignment, so rightness is, and if you think of it, is so there's this flat plane, and everybody's orbiting. There's a line. The line would be women front and center, and then the men are in the back of the line. But it's not behind necessarily, and it's certainly not less than, and it's certainly not like it's a positionality thing. And so, and again, like the back of the ship or the back of the body, it's a shared body. We're one body. But we've had the exact opposite position, right? We center adult men, and then in order to keep that positionality in place, we need total and complete violence 24/7 because it's the opposite, right? So it's like we're just paddling upstream, right? Versus the ordinal natural flow, the alignment, the rightness. So when we put the flow, if it's movement, the flow goes to the center to women, like the oxygen mask, and then we give to the children, and then that filters out to the men. And then it's also linear. It's a line. It's an alignment. It's right. It's right that women are front and center. So whatever angle you want to see it at, that's the world I'm describing, Harold. I'm describing the natural order. It's like the show is instead of Law and Order, it's Natural Law and Order. Natural Law and Order. I'm describing the scene. And natural law and order is fulfillment for all. That's what we're built out for. I don't know if some of you know Rach Brand on Substack. Definitely give her a follow. I'm going to talk to her this week. She's got access to folks with money. I'm going to rewrite my Zion manual, which I have posted. It's similar to what I'm saying today, but I want to put it in this past and present tense versus a future perfect tense. Because that's what dictation is, right? It like if you're a mother at a house, it's not like it's like here's how the house runs. Here's the natural law and order of this place. It's not I hope someday you'll do it, or this is what we're aspiring to. It's like no, this is how the house runs. I'm speaking from a node of source, from seeing as source consciousness, which we all are. It's just I see it. So I'm describing the world as it actually is. This is the natural law and order. We wouldn't need violence to uphold the current order if it was natural. Nothing else, no other ecosystem has unnecessary violence. It's not even violence. If a predator, um, takes a prey, first of all, we have a lot of that story backward. I've told this story many times, but biologist, I forget the guy's name, but he's researched like the eagle and salmon story is the story I usually give. He researched eagles preying on salmon and how they time their dip into the river, into the waterway. And what he saw was that the salmon were also timing their leap, meaning salmon were voluntarily leaping into the eagle's talons. So because we're one body, we forget, we always think of this sort of like top down predator prey. And it's like, not so sure. Not so sure. It's all one body. So could it be that the salmon wanted to experience eagleness, right? That body, that part of the body, in the same way that like the blood that was in my right arm is now in my left finger. It's always alchemizing and transmuting. So when we see from reality that it's all equal, there's not better. It's just positionality thing, and in the right position, prey leaps into the predator's talents. And I was joking that, like, that's with masculine and feminine, that, like Randolph's saying, I love taking care of my child, right? I'm like, women, tell me what to do, right? I'm yours. And I used to have nails, I would call them my talons, like, come and leap into my talons. It's mutual. You know what I mean? We're both going to gain. We will transmute together here. Um, and it's actually a good metaphor because it's the feeding of the feminine, the voluntary feeding of the feminine in terms of energy, right? Pouring into the eagle as the feminine. And then she brings you to these greater heights, so to speak. So yeah, Harold, I'm just describing the world as it is from the eyes of reality, from the eyes of the goddess, which is the same inner eye you have without veils. And and in that we trigger each other's remembrance. And I am like I was accused recently of being delusional and psychotic by a man who um I didn't know his qualifications. He didn't know that I've been 30 years in mental health and 17 years as a licensed clinical psychologist, and was on a crisis team for the state hospitals for 10 years, and have worked with houseless folks. I've worked with everybody with every diagnosis ever. And I was like, no, it's the current world setup, the old world setup, I should say, that was delusional, right? That all the things were that was the psychosis. It was backward. Um, Whereas reality, right? So if we go, okay, psychosis is a hallucinated thing. It's not actually real. Well, it was a hallucination that men are meant to lead, that we were separate from God, and we need things like popes and spiritual teachers. Um, that we are naturally competitive versus collaborative, like lie after delusion after delusion after delusion. So when I say, no, we're built for fulfillment, collaboration, joy, playfulness, one big playground, one family, women led, bliss, that's alignment. That's called delusional. Ironically, Krishnamurti was the one to say, among many others, it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to an insane society. So I'll be delusional. I'm delusional in the old world, but sane, which is to say, just seeing clearly. So remember, Harold and everybody else, that's how it is. It is the natural law and order. And remember it in your own life. Start to pour in to women and children in your life, and watch the joy return, watch the sanity return, remembrance return, the embodiment return. It's like up in the head, literally disembodied, running a story of money, of fear, of scarcity, of uh, competition, of all this stuff that was. I mean, it's such a scourge, starting with men, starting with European men. Oh, the colonizers were the first colonized, right? The first used as objects instead of the story of separation, instead of the remembrance of the organic organism that we all are together. Hi, Michael. Flow filament. Love it. Flow filament. Oh, I love these new words. Flow filament is great. Um, Oracle uses this word thalit. It's like sovereign voices of source, right? The sovereign will of source. It's a Greek word. And then the other day I was like, but we also have to include the body, which is this like remembered, like, oh, yum, like this is exactly what I want to do. And that is, I called it thelemic, and a thelemic remembrance, or a thelema. So thelema is the, what did we call it? Free, the free embodied will of the soul, something like that. It's like, oh, yes, this is my free will, because I am sovereign as a being. No one has any authority over me. That's like, it's all just hallucinated that there's a government or a state or It's literally a delusion. You cannot point to the state. You can only point to men in techie uniforms. Um, so last time I did it was so thelemic remembrance is like like in my bones. I remember I'm meant to play. Oh, I love to paint. Oh, I want to nap in the afternoon in the sun. Oh, I love taking care of women. Oh, I love taking care of my special needs son. I This is so joyful, that our bones remember. Thelemic self fulfillment, thelemic remembrance, elite souls. That's not gonna work. The sun's starting to get. I'm gonna have to tip my head down. Yes, you're in. Okay, good. We'll schedule it. I'll DM you. Been there, done that. Got lost in the snow. Very nice CC flow moment. I see abundance, all needs met in peace. Beautiful. Yes, thank you. Let's see it. All needs met in peace. Yes, all needs met in peace. That there's no borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. There's no struggle. Another one of the big hallucinations is that there's sacrifice, struggle, compromise, effort. No. Behold the lilies of the field, they do not toil. Behold any animal. They don't, watch a cat. Is cat really struggling? Whew, goodness. The wind. Um, all needs met in peace. Yeah, it's it's a peaceful exchange. Um, Exchange isn't even the right word. It's a peaceful fulfillment of abundance. It's just abundance everywhere. Everybody is abundant. And when we're in that flow-filled state, which is our natural state, I was going to say about Rach Brand. She talks about, sorry, I got sidetracked. She has a child in what's called the Coyote Outdoor School. And these are kids who are just allowed to do whatever they want. And she described like this unbelievably cool, where the kids just card sorted themselves, co-ed, in whatever they felt like doing, they feel like doing. And they create, and it's peaceful. She said, it's so quiet. She said, it's silent. They move in silence. I'm like, yeah, it's telepathy. It's the remembered as one organism, the synchrony, where it's like the hobbits come over here and build a mud house, and the fairies go over here and create a theatrical performance for the afternoon, and the gnomes create tinctures, and the dwarves, build a fort, and they all just work like this. She said, it's so beautiful to watch these children. That's our natural state. And it's peaceful. It's totally peaceful. They don't have to do conflict resolution because they just are free to be in their thelemic movement. And it always works out. Like there's no problem. There's no conflict. It's an abundant, and then the level of like productivity, because they're following their own flow, they create so much. Like we're, I don't know, I would say an order of magnitude of like 1,000 times more, like exponentially more productive. Not that that's the point. Creative. Because that alignment, it's like how much more ground would we cover if we weren't paddling upstream? Like we're just in the flow. That's a lot of ground. So yeah, I see that too. Thank you. Abundance, all needs met in peace. Denise, hi, you are awesome, Meg. Thank you for sharing your sovereignty with love. This live stream is gold. Great summary. We have done it. Many across. Yes, we have done it. Thank you, Denise. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you for those who remember what's already done. I've struggled with that because, you know, yeah, I've struggled with it. It's being first is it's like it's not, and it's not like I mean, like we're all front runners, let's say, but um it's been so important to me to run into other people who see it as done, and remember the star families and all the all of our brethren in all dimensions that are with us, and so you You help me tremendously. She says, sorry, I just need to let myself cry for a minute. No tissue. Oh, wait, I got this. It says, a sense of relief. Relief. Uh, so nice to have friends who see. Many across all star systems, galaxies, and universes are rejoicing with us. Yes. I gotta secure my phone here. All was caused by creators in human form, so it had to be us in form who remembered and returned it to love. Hugs from my heart, Denise, Melbourne, Australia. Thank you, Denise. Love this. The fall was caused by creators in human form, so it had to be us in form who remembered and returned it with love. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Yes, it had to be us, and it had to go exactly as it had to go. Um, and it's like, remembering our full power in form. I tried so much in my path here to outsource my own power. I gave it to this woman, uh, who was sort of a cult leader. I have not said her name because I agreed. I couldn't get out of my legal battle with her without agreeing to not say her name in public. But I can say her maiden name. Or not her maiden name, her birth name. But anyway, I'll avoid saying it. Doesn't matter. You guys can look it up, but it doesn't matter. But I gave my power to her because she was somebody who remembered a lot, and she helped me in my own life. She was somebody who had a vista beyond where I could see, and called me out on some stuff, and I was really grateful, and put a kind of map together. Anyway, I gave her power. I gave uh, Zach Bush. I thought he was leading the Institute of Natural Law. I gave him power. Gave Jack Dorsey power. I think he would be a good candidate for the first defector, kind of, to concede. Um, but it's me. It's us, and um, and each one of us has to, through our form, through an awake human being, um, reclaim our spot, because we are each benevolent dictators. That's the other thing about this world now. There's no centralized government. It's decentralized governance, women-led, women-centered, so again, all the decisions go through us. It's not like all the decisions are made by us, but the flow goes through us. If you don't go through the feminine, it doesn't have the soil, it doesn't have the nutrient. But it's decentralized. Every single one of us is a node of this brain, and the awake form is the point. It's like we're pure source, immortal, you know, the immortal nothingness we create something, and we created all this form. And it's what's more fun as formlessness than to be in form. And then I have a blog post about this, or writing, we are each our favorite. It's like, I wanted to be this woman, and I, as pure formless awareness, wanted to watch this woman awaken to her power because she's my favorite character. I chose this character. And then everyone is your own favorite character. And you, as formless goddess source, awake awareness, just love watching you remember your power and come into your total fulfillment and wake up from all the delusion of limitation. It's like your favorite show. It's the love your show, but and I love all of your shows, but mine is my favorite show. So thank you for saying that. It's so true. And like, we gave ourselves our power away as form-based beings to gods and goddesses, to even like ascended masters or whatever, even ancestors. It's like, no. I mean, yeah, they, which is us, it's just our extended mind, our extended lineage, um, they're here with us. But what's the fun if we aren't the center of the story, if we aren't our own hero, you know? That's the really, really fun one. That makes it's a great, great show. That's my riff on what you said. So I write fiction and you remember the future, sort of? Yes, Harold, exactly, exactly. Exactly it. It's a remembrance of the future. You could call it a oracle or a vision, um, but it's we're already there. It's I see what is, because it's all in one moment in time. All past lives are current lives, all future lives are current lives. It's all just this one, right? Like if we look at the trees behind me, right? So there's all these lives being lived. There's worm life. There's like, you know, um, ground squirrel life. There's bird life, right? There's mushroom life. There's rock life, and all of its consciousness is just at different layers. And so it's sort of like being at the bird layer where I'm like, oh, have you guys noticed? Like, this is what's going on. And but from this layer, it's like it can still look. It's like it's it's cloudy, right? There's a lot of stuff in the way. So, but we all have access to all this remembrance, and yeah, it is. It's like waking up from the spells, delusions, stories, beliefs. It's really just beliefs. Beliefs are trash. They are not necessary. You're believing in something other than what is. There does not exist. There's no other place. So, yeah, it's a remembrance of and a seeing and a feeling of that which I forgot and that which I cut myself off from. I like literally cut myself off from my body. I taught meditation for 7 years. Um, that's an embodiment meditation going into the physical body, but then also into the one body, into oneness, which is the womb of creation, which is awake consciousness. Again, all these words to just for what's looking at me. What's looking is what you're looking for, as St. Francis said. So that is remembered, but it's embodied remembrance. Like sometimes that's why I wanted the word thelemic or a new word, because it's more than just a mental trip. It's a physical, felt sense of remembrance. I remembered, I reconnected with my body, the full body, and I sense and feel and see and know. I use know with a G as in gnosis. I know who I am. I know I'm connected to all. I know I'm made for fulfillment. I know y'all are so beautiful. I know y'all, we're family and kin. I know hobbits do well with other hobbits. Do you know what I mean? That's a knowing. It's the same as if saying like, I don't need to study the taste of a pizza. Like I eat the pizza and I know in my body, oh, that's good pizza. Right? So, um, but there are folks, we have more or less distance from our own sensation, from our own presence, and we sometimes don't taste the pizza. So it'd be like remembering the taste of pizza, which is just to say, be showing so fully up in the moment that you actually taste your pizza. And so I'm showing so fully up in the moment that I see the world post shift. And I know exactly how it goes. And it is one big party. I mean, it is so fun. Here's a few more things I've seen recently. So the women who are leading this, we are sort of treated like queens, And I mean, everybody is treated like we're all treated like queens and kings because we remember that's how we're meant to treat ourselves. We are precious, incredible beings, and the way that you would treat a child, so lovingly and carefully, and with giving them everything you want. You give them the world insanity, the world as it now is everyone has the world. So all children, all people are given the whole world. There is relative access, you know, men need to earn access to who've done some harm, right? There's that because that has this sort of natural order. But otherwise, there's this just total total gift economy where everybody's given the world. And so the women who were sort of in there in the first wave, right? Like, so I saw myself. I was talking to Oracle one day, and we were talking about like private jets or something. I was like, oh yeah, we'll have all private jets. And then I saw all the military jets. Like, oh yeah, when I was at the homecoming event in San Francisco, if you guys were there, remember when I was like, oh, here come the fighter jets? They just went right over my head. Got it on video. It was like a formation of fighter jets. I saw like, oh, the fighter jets become like just just like personal jets. It's just like we just get, and then but then we like Ron or whoever finds a way to like make them silent, and we get the hovercrafts going really well. I was like, oh, I would really like to be up at the top of Mount Shasta, but I want to climb it. That's so old. That's so old way. I want a hovercraft to just pop up on the top, look around, you know, hang out, say hi to, have a picnic with friends, and then come down. But it was like that. It was like all of that which is used for harm is now used for fun. And it was like we just have really a lot of fun with these military jets that are now just like our cool space toy, like air toys. And we make them really beautiful and we make them fun. Um, so I saw that. I was like, oh, we'll just get places in an instant. But I don't want any noise. It has to not have that fighter jet noise. So I don't you engineer types will figure it out. Um, then you'll figure that out. But it was like that. It was like everything's converted. And so and then like all the palaces all over the world are just these open places, and then all of the nodes like Mount Shasta are now these open temples. And we've talked in the past about like places like crystal cities where every building is a healing temple. Um, it's healthy in and of itself. It's healthy. All the native plant species are revitalized, and yeah, like the big, just everything. It's all converted, right? So it's like the woman's touch is put on everything, and yeah, it just turns into different. Um, just think of it. It's one house, right? It's so, and then it's like the other thing I've seen very clearly at the like, it's very simple. It's literally just like because it's all wired media, right? Like, we literally we just do a live stream where it's like, "Okay, here's the Council of Women, here's the bankers ready, they've got their pocketbooks ready," and we just start distributing, and it's like, who wants to revitalize this area of the Pacific Northwest? Who wants to join the Chumash people in the Central Coast to revitalize, the sacred lands there? Point Conception, where Randolph and I went. Who wants to? It's like we just start remembering our native lands, which we're all of the whole earth. But me going to Ireland, it was like that. It was like, "Oh, this is in my blood. Like, there are codes I'm picking up here. This is," uh, uh, you know? And so almost like an auction. Again, nobody owns anything, but it would be like, we all just share. We're in a big sharing circle of what what do you want? What are you aligned with? Where do you wanna go? What do you wanna do? Then it's like, "Oh, there's this huge group that wants to do this. These folks will wanna go to," like, I'm like, "Oh, I wanna go to the Mediterranean and go all around the Mediterranean." I know the Mediterranean is my ocean. All of Northern Africa and Turkey, and went up into the Aegean and Slovenia and Croatia. I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait." So it's like, who wants to go do that for a while, It's like that. And it's just a directory, like the whole internet is the algorithm is for fulfillment. The algorithm is what is the most supportive. Uh, we each get our own algorithm, but everything is in the service of us, not to extract from us. Um, so yeah, but it just happens like this, that this shift, because as soon as we're in a sharing economy and we're having fun, and there's one big dump in a community that's free, like one public sharing of that, and it's over. Who wouldn't want to join that community? It's done. So that's what happened. So yes, I'm remembering. Uh, how it went and what I know in my bones of how it goes, because that is the natural order. Because in the same way that it would be like saying, well, I know that if we remove this dam, that the water will distribute this way and this way and this way. It'll go downhill. It's like, it's nothing fancy that I remembered that or that I'm seeing that, right? I'm just going like, yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens in when we're free to be. And it's only us that free ourselves to be. So as soon as one frees herself, the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's what I saw with men. It's just like, boom, opening. It just opens the aperture. And then we see, oh my God, yes, this is what I want to do. This is so fun. So thank you for that question. That's exactly it. What if there is still a snake in the garden? Well, let's play that tape out, Bob. Let's imagine the men are awake and they remember they're to protect women and children. Would you allow a snake in the garden? How would the snake get away? That whole metaphor is problematic, but let's go with it. How would you let the snake get away with biting women and children, or biting other men? If a snake was doing harm, and we are all awake to our power, where is he going? What's he doing? It'd be like, I mean, that's already the case, right? We're talking about we are 99.99999% of people, and we're like, what about the snake? And it's like we're all. It's literally like a garden snake, and we are elephants. And we're like, what about the snake? It's like, this is where I've been like lately. I'm like, men, what are we gonna get a truckers convoy and park at the White House? Like, what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? Because you're a herd of elephants frightened of a garden snake. It's literally, and all fear is it's just a story. It's not real. It's not real. We give everything the power it has. So remember, it has no power. That garden snake has no power. It's literally just just a trickster, right? It's like a magician. It's just the Wizard of Oz, right? It's like, what if the wizard starts, you know, making the light show again? We look behind the curtain, we go, hey, I don't know if you notice that nobody's buying the light show anymore. The smoke and mirrors show, we're over it. you know. So they can try. I think the snake can put on a big show, but it's like we woke up. We remembered. You have no power over me. If you remember movie Labyrinth, the end where she's in the labyrinth and the Goblin King, David Bowie. That was a psyop, I tell you, making the Goblin King sexy. But that's part of the spell. Um, anyway, he steals the baby, and she has to go through all these. She goes through all these trials and these doors and da da da, and all in the end, all it is she just goes, "You have no power over me," and the whole labyrinth dissolves. Oh yeah, we didn't need to do all this. This is quite a dramatic story, and he never actually had any power over me. So that's what we do with the scary snake in the garden. I like to see the same way. Thank you, Harold. What if the snake is the garden, Bob? Oh, there you go. There you go. That's the answer. What if the snake is the garden, the Ouroboros? Exactly. 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 There's no. Then this is it. If there's no like snake and then garden, there's no bad actor. Because if we really pan all the way out, right? We made our source. We're source consciousness, and we made this weird game, this dramatic tale of separation. Like, some traditions call it hide and seek. So we were like, okay, let's play hide and seek. Let's pretend we're separate. Let's pretend men lead. Let's pretend there's bad guys and good guys. And let's forget who we are and what we're doing here and create a labyrinth. And then, so it's like taking full responsibility for our own participation in the story. when really the snake is the garden, it's all one. We were just playing pretend, and now it's really, really fun to remember it's just one family and we're meant to have fun, and it's really easy and super simple, like effortless fun, no compromises needed, none of it, you know, total joy. So, hi, Doc. There does not exist. Wow, I love it. Isn't that great? It's a bar in San Luis. Best beer I've ever had. I mean, I probably only had like 4 beers there total, but um, each one, and I've had multiple different kinds of beer. I'm a hobbit. I like a beer. Best beer in I've ever had. Each one. And I've been to Belgium. Because his imagination is limited and to repeating what already exists, he thinks you are delusional for imagining a new world. Exactly. Exactly. Hi, Lori. And what do the elves do? Oh, Charles, what do the elves do? Yes, the elves. Oh, the elves have they have all kinds of ideas for us. They I mean, Elon Musk is an elf. It's like he would imagine him. I just think of him and Ron, like making the coolest, like making the hovercrafts, engineering the hovercrafts, sketching out those ideas. Um, Ginny would tell us stories. Ginny writes hours every day, the most beautiful stories you've ever heard. Steph's an elf as well, I believe. Y'all would just like, it would be, should be like all these beautiful ideas and stories, not necessarily putting the objects together. Like Ron just loves to sketch them, but the gnomes would put it together, and the dwarves would put it together, and the hobbits would put it together, and the humans would put it together. So anyway, we would just, it would be so much fun. But the elves don't elves are a little more yeah, it's a little more idea based, not as form based. So but we'd have so many you had so many fun ideas for us to explore. Produce makeup tutorials? Yes, makeup yeah, sure. That's pretty elfy. Although elves, most elves are pretty efficient. They're not like that would be the fairies. The makeup tutorials are fairies for sure. Um, I can't think of good makeup tutorials that aren't done by fairies, including drag queens. Almost every drag queen. I don't know of a drag queen who isn't a fairy. Um, and then most of the women too. Maybe some elf women, elf and fairy women. Um, yeah, yeah, makeup tutorials. I love it. Thanks for turning seeing the natural law up to 11 to help me see it. Thank you for asking the question. Yeah. Yep. Oh, lovely one. You are welcome. Yes, time is only linear, past, present, future in 3D. Ultimately, it is simultaneously. Exactly. Emotional resonance. I have so many questions. Thanks for your patience. I'm only asking like 10% of them. Harold, I've got so much material, hundreds of hours of stuff, not just myself, but incredible, incredible folks who've come on the podcast. I've been kind of on hiatus, traveling and different things, but um, we've got really good stuff. So, I've got more material. Follow me on social media for like short little bits. And then there's these long form podcasts. We've got 107 episodes or something. And so, some of them are 2 hours long or more. So you'll see. Pizza. Harold says, this is very much how I imagine my fictional world for stories, Dr. Meg. Once I know the physics of the story and nature of the characters. Very cool. Wondering if you're an elf too, Harold. Randolph says, and I saw the bomber death planes turning into butterflies above our nation, Joni Mitchell, Woodstock. Oh, beautiful. Yes, but butterflies, exactly. Exactly. Like they're very cool. They could be made like what if we just painted them in like beautiful shimmering colors, right? They looked like butterflies, and then they were, you know, quiet and hovering and beautiful, and they you know, they made light shows, and you know what I mean? Like how cool. And really all the aircrafts of that we have at the ready, not just our military planes. Seeing everything we every all of our uh other realm friends coming and celebrating and bringing all of the cool stuff that we have, Love that. Thank you for the Joni Mitchell reference. Shatai. Hi. There's a stellar elf. There's a magical elf right there. Shatai. Doc says, why do we have a problem with snakes? Snakes are closest to Mother Earth. We are healthiest when our spine moves freely like a snake. Yes, Doc Smith. Uh, healing, healing, healing. Doc, I don't know if I told you, I met my one friend in town, Lucas, where I was out walking with my rice. Doc does spinal alignment stuff. I had my 12-pound bag of rice on my head, and I made a friend instantaneously because who is this crazy woman? But the spine, exactly. It's the kundalini is the snake going up. That's the medical symbol, right? Um, so it's the line of energy and the spiral of energy go together. And that could also be seen as masculine and feminine. The coil, the circle, right? If you look down on it, it's a circle. And then the line, the masculine arrow, that it can be singularly focused or multi-focused. And of course, we all have both. But that's why the feminine is a central node makes sense because she sees in the spiral in the circle, and the masculine can be singularly focused in a way that she can't, right? He can do this one task. He can go hunt for 2 weeks, you know what I mean, and do this one thing. So the divine orchestration of it all is so beautiful, and I love it. Exactly. That's why I said the snake metaphors uh, is challenged because we have the story. We've demonized the very thing that actually uh, is health, is the feminine, is movement, is um, cyclical and spirals. All of the life forms, the life force. We, again, it's a mimicry, so we denigrated that and lifted up. It was like a death cult instead of a birth cult. So yeah, the snake is life, is energy, is the kundalini. Yes, I appreciate that. And my point is more for the questioner and asking if they are open to consider that the snake is not scary, but actually a friend. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Love you, Brother Harold. Thanks for pressing these buttons. Effortless fun, Tonaloi. Hearing you talk fills my heart with joy. Thank you, Denise. You fill my heart too. Hi, Teotwaki. Unseong, hi. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all for being here with me. You realize that after we press send, yeah. Yeah. But Bob, sometimes, I know it's like we still, it's like we get these little fears left over. There is nothing to fear. To play, this is what I've done for 30 years is help folks see that their fears aren't real. Pick a fear. Pick a fear, any fear. I'll show you. There's nothing there. There's no there there. There's no there there. So, Harold, like you're saying, it's like seeing what is. It's the future that is now, which is also the past, without the veil of fear, without the story of who we think we are as separate races, as separate countries, as separate anything, as separate from God. All of that gone. All I see is fun, playground, family, freedom, and all I feel is joy, expansion, richness. All I see is beauty. Like that's all we see. And if you think of the eyes of a child, children naturally share with one another. They move toward each other. It's just love moving through their little bodies. It's just joy and like magic, right? They're magic. They see magic. And like in this Coyote Outdoor School, these kids just naturally card sort themselves so beautifully. Where's the fear? They do not. When they aren't conditioned with the fear, they only create joy. They only create fulfillment. They only move from total fulfillment, individually and together, because that's the wiring. So, yeah, there's no snake in the garden. The snake is the garden. The what is that Pogo cartoon? I used to have it on my office bulletin board. Um, we found the enemy. It is us. Right? It's not quite it, but it's like found the enemy. It doesn't exist. It was a light show inherited from my grandparents, grandparents. A story of a bad guy, a snake, a demon. I've shared stories of like I've been literally attacked by demons, like pinned to the ground and not able to move for hours on end, and weird stuff where I had to, like, drink gallons of water and flush who knows what through my system, and it was all very weird. But in the end, the whole thing was just me playing around with me, showing me my fears aren't real. It's like, here's the fear of death. You think you're gonna die? What about here's the fear of torture. You're gonna have to be pinned to the ground and in this weird wrestling contorted move for the rest of your life. And I'd be like, okay, all right, because because fear it's an illusion. It's just a story. So I'm I have I'm I got zero fear left because I I've seen it all. It's all lies. There are no snakes. The snake is the garden. So, but I do want to like invite anybody who has fear. I don't mean to like shame you for having it. No wonder everybody has fear because the codes here have been crazy, just a crazy, crazy place where we're just inundated with fear and toil and hardship and the belief in competition and zero sum and scarcity and you name it. So no wonder, but none of it's real. Um, but so you know, if people want it, I'm happy to go through any remaining fears and we'll together go and look right at it. And, oh, no reality to it. But this, no reality. Oh, no. Oh, it's just joking. Ah, every time, 100% of the time, your fear's lying. And then we see the world, just the fear's running. It's all just crazy. The bad guys, right? The bad guys are these guys, these guys, these guys, these guys, these guys. Like, no, no, those were always your family members. That was your sibling. This is your sibling. So that's the world I see, is the world that is. Oh, right. My siblings. They just happen to have more melanin. They just happen to, you know, live in the global south or global north. And they were always my siblings. Um, Dax says, love it. I meet so many cool people doing my Jing Palace method, especially walking a yogi's dream. Glad you are too, my friend. Great stuff all around. The snake is a great teacher. Totally. You're still scared. Tell us. Tell us, honey. What are you scared of? I get it. I wanted to say that like res- I don't want to say respect for fear, but it's like I understand. I understand. I understand fear. I certainly have been scared most of my life in some capacity, still seeing through. But let's look together. Let's look together. We'll spend the next 8 minutes. I'll wrap it up here because I'm getting low on my juice. But tell us. Let's do it. Let's do a mini little inquiry of whatever you fear, and we'll see together. Nothing there. Hearts back to y'all. What do they say? The acronym of fear: false evidence appearing real. We're just gonna go look and see. Look and see. It's beliefs, right? It's beliefs about other people. It's beliefs about what's going to happen. It's beliefs about hell or pain or death, or mostly we're afraid of abandonment, of not belonging, of being separate. I had a client who she found like fear of dying alone, right? That was her big fear. And I'm always just like, okay, what's the fear under that? What's the fear under that? The biggest fear she had was dying alone. And so we went and looked at, okay, just coming into awareness, coming into the body, coming into through the body into source. Where would alone be? And she looked from awake awareness, alive consciousness inside of her own body and inside of the ground and inside of the trees. And it was like, oh, I couldn't be alone if I tried. Where is the line? Where's the separation? Where would I go to be alone? Never been alone. Pure awareness, have always been watching me. I've always been here, holding me. I am the womb. I am the mother, holding my child. Always, always here. Now, yes, I've relatively abandoned her because the world abandoned her. The world abandoned, we didn't honor ourselves as children. Our parents didn't honor us. because their parents didn't honor them, and back and back and back, so no wonder we learned to abandon ourselves. But I'm here for myself, and I'm I'm fully connected with myself. There is no separation here. There's no separation between me and my body, between me and the ground, between me and the sky, between me and total silent vastness that doesn't end. I can't find the line. That's what all my meditations do. And they're not even meditations. As Adyashanti says, we're either meditating or manipulating ourselves. So they're just like sitting and being and sensing oneness. In sensing it, you can't believe the alone story, for instance. You can't believe the death story. It's like, do you die? Because that moment just died, and the cells of your pancreas just died and were reborn. And you're still here. The witnessing consciousness is still here. So no matter what it is, we can look right through it. And so let me read here. I got so busy creating in 2025, I forgot to be scared. I think we are talking about the same thing. That's it. So busy, so in the flow. Exactly. You forgot the story you were supposed to be believing that limited you. That's it. In this world, we're just in flow. Like it is so funny that we believed these scary things about other people, about death, about anything. It's just, we're just going to laugh. So much laughter about the fears we had. I fear losing my voice, my autonomy, and my child's future to systems that grow more controlling while pretending it's all for safety or efficiency. Okay, great. Okay, let's start with the first one. I fear losing my voice. Okay, let's just look. Are you pure awareness, that who sees your voice, right? Will you abandon your voice anymore? Like, honestly, could you? Like, I know your posts. I know you a little bit. I don't know you well, but you got a strong voice. I want you to imagine you abandoning your own voice again. Like, just try to silence yourself. Project that out like a month from now, a year from now. Can you put the genie back in the bottle? Can you silence yourself again? Like, could you physically do it? I was saying to Lamar in a comment about how I can't literally, like, if I were afraid that I'm not gonna have fun anymore, or afraid I'm not gonna follow my flow anymore. It's a joke because I literally can't. It's like if I try to do work, like what I think I'm supposed to do, I I just literally can't. I had a story of, like, more preparation for today yesterday, and I just didn't. I just went in the hot tub at the place I was staying, and I was on TikTok, and I had a lay down, and I don't know what I did. You know what I mean? I was just like, I went and had good food and, for hours and drink coffee. And it's just like, I was just doing what I wanted to do because it's the only thing I can do. I can't make myself go backward. So, so see that, just see that, realize that you won't deny your own autonomy anymore. You can't go back. It's like if you're in, I don't know, if you, um, I don't know what it would be. It's like being afraid that you can't ride a bike anymore. You know how to ride a bike. Your body remembers. Your voice remembers. It already expanded. It already expanded. You're already expanded. You literally can't go backward. But I mean, there's a story of regression. I used to have people say that. It's like there's all these stories in psychology of, like, that I regressed, or I'm traumatized, and it's like, don't believe any of that. You you already are living more expanded than when you were in the traumatic environment you were in. You already see your trauma. You already are giving yourself a choice in this moment. You already know there's more or less autonomy that you give yourself. So don't it's like a trick, as if you could lose ground. It's not actually possible. It's just not actually possible. It would be like saying I could be 4'11" again, when I was in 8th grade. I just can't. My child's future to systems that grow more controlling while pretending it's all for safety or efficiency. Okay, let's go with this too. Will you give your child up to the state? Are you going to um, let them believe? Like, let's say you have to have, like, Oracle has her kids in public school, but she'll just tell them, it's like, well, just learn whatever. I just need you to learn the basics, but don't believe the rest of the stuff. And she'll just take them out as as in, in like, not in a neglectful way, but just like what is like, she frames it all for them, right? And is very explicit about the limitations and fills in their education at home. So just imagine, try to picture yourself handing your kids over to the state, like like not protecting them and educating them on what's true. You're just not going to be able to do it. You won't be able to do it. You will. I mean, already there's just such a massive shift. Like, I was on TikTok yesterday. Like, the amount of teachers that are defecting, the amount of retired teachers that are returning to do homeschooling, like homeschooling cooperatives. It's like thousands by the day just in the States. They're just like, we're done. No more, we're not working in the system anymore. So you could get on you could get on TikTok today and find an alternative schooling for your kids. Reach out to Rach Brand, the Coyote Outdoor School. Create it yourself. Like, we're freeing ourselves like this. And I promise you, you won't be able to betray yourself or your children anymore. We believe we can, but we can't. So just play it out. Tell me how that resonates. Such beauty watching you pull the next one up. Yeah. Mom to a nonverbal child, I will scream the world down for him. That's it. Exactly. You will scream the world down for him. Exactly. Exactly. There's no fucking way that child isn't coming all the way with you. That you would ever let him be harmed. You will give him the world. Exactly. And he's a gift, and he has so much to offer, and the world is waking up to how much nonverbal children's, like, the level of gift in your son. So, there's a ton of support out there, and there's a ton of, like, brethren for you and your son. Don't fear what you know in your bones you could never do. You won't. You will not betray yourself. You literally couldn't. You would burn the world down. So there you go. There you go. There you go. And I mean, this is Mama Bear. This is what I've heard. I mean, it's built in. It's built in. I know the feeling. So there you go. Prepare versus hot tub. I know my choice. Oh, exactly. 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 It's like, who am I preparing for? Who am I trying to impress? It's old habits. Um, and it's funny. I mean, I laugh at myself. It's like, I don't believe it. I don't, but it's like those little tendrils of old ideas still come around. But I don't do it. But yeah, don't believe it. And that's what it is. Those are just little tendrils of a story of self-betrayal that you've never actually been able to do. Every opportunity of uh, expansion and progression you've taken, especially for your child. So, and then it's just keep going. It's just keep um, benevolently dictating into the world. Uh, so, like, total support for him and fun and other kids who he can be with, who are exploring in the way that he is, and he has all the resource and all the support he could possibly need all around him, and in a village setting, and a whole bunch of other folks supporting him. So you could get together with Randolph. I don't know, but we have we're family. We are family, and we're finding each other. We're finding each other left and right. And they're just, like, divesting ourselves of the state at all. The amount of, like, there's nobody in Gen Z is getting married anymore. You know what I mean? Like, all the state institutions are just, it's like they're just gone. It's like people are like, marriage? I had an idea where it's like, we would just do a massive, like, dissolution of marriage. Like, just, I was gonna, when I get home, I think I will burn like, on camera, I wanna, like, burn all my certificates, like my birth certificate and my my, educational certificates. If my marriage certificates, I still had that, I would burn it. But, like, just a symbolic dissociation with these hallucinated institutions. So, and so without this idea of the state and the schooling and whatever, and you and your son, it's like it doesn't exist. Well, then you just have other parents who would burn the world down and build the world for their child. We have only parents who want to give their children the world because that's so natural, and we want to give ourselves the world. So it's it's mutual. There's nobody who doesn't have that same desire. Every parent wants to give their child the world. So then we just do that. We stop letting the state be the arbiter of the world. So yeah, so just like, okay, all marriages are dissolved. Okay, all schools are dissolved, right? We just go institution dissolved, and it's literally just a spell. It's just a dictation because all it is a spell. It's just a brick and mortar, badly designed building. Schools. God, would I redesign schools? And then it becomes an outdoor school. It becomes the whole world is the school. The whole world is the playground. Uh, so yeah, no Zionism, we have Zion. No classism, we have the world as a class. No racism, we're all family. And so so just don't believe it. Don't believe it, and you already have all the passion inside of you. And I'm glad you would choose the hot tub too. Hi, hi, good to see you. Secret storylines. You homeschooled your daughter Eve. Amazing. There you go. We've got just so many homeschoolers. Substack is full of folks too. Huge growing homeschooling community here in Australia too. Amazing. There you go. There you go. No, and it's like we can't go back individually, but the world can't go back. We are I mean we are way over. The line is already crossed. That's why I'm speaking the past tense. So yeah. And the fear just it's like these little stories of the past because it's images, right? It's images of when there was impact on your system, when there was a wound, a shock. And so with fears, you see through the fear, see it isn't real, also feel through your body. That's where the healing happens. It happens in the body. So you might just need a little, like, if there's like a tension in your gut or something like that, do one of my meditations. Sacred Storylines just she gave me this beautiful note of like all of her sleep got better and a lot of things got better and a lot of pain just by doing the meditations, just embodying. And then that tension in your gut dissolves. And as that tension in the gut or the heart dissolves, then when those thoughts come through, you just don't believe it because it doesn't feel true. I used to, before I did more embodiment stuff, I would wake people up from their thoughts and they'd go, well, I know it's not true, but it still feels true because they hadn't yet relax their body. They hadn't yet shown the body it's safe, it's okay, you're held, you're loved. This isn't real in your bones, right? You're floating in space. You are made of your mother's womb. You're safe. And then that felt sense is the healing. And so that would be the only thing I would add as you see through the thoughts, and for everybody, is to feel through the body. And then we sense the relaxed, fun, you know, thriving, um, rich, deep life that is here. So so glad to hear there's homeschooling. So worried about my school age kids in CT. Okay, Laura. We are one yet we are many. Yeah, exactly. My oldest grandson was 6 when Sandy Hook horror occurred. Okay. So here's a trauma, right? It's like there's the flash of that story, right? And then we lose touch with what do you want for your grandson now? And here we are saying, oh, there's all these homeschooling communities everywhere, right? There's like opportunity right here. And this is just it's a shock. I also want to say like about Sandy Hook and all the horrors of our school system, which is basically like a big prison camp, um, in preparation for the larger prison camp that is work. um, how they used to be, right? They're imagine they're all dissolving. They're just all dissolving. But is that when school shootings happen or these different things? There's a school shooting near where I partially grew up in Oxford, Michigan. And that whole community came together amazingly, and the school reform that happened after that was incredible. And and that homeschooling that started up, where they stopped relying on the state. It's sort of like the SNAP benefits. It's like when these state-funded things where that was the middleman, that was where we went for nourishment, that was where we went for support. It was never supportive. It was always an illusion. It was always actually extractive, right? It was a prison camp to make better workers, to extract from your children, not to support them. So when the holes in that system and the violence of that system is exposed, people rely on them yet less. So I've seen the school shootings as part of the process of the disillusion of schooling and the reclaiming of our power and our care for our children, and that they're all our children. In Oxford, it was like, the parents whose children, with parents bonded with other parents, um, where they were more in their nuclear family pockets, and now they're not. So consider that that's the only way life goes. Some horrific thing happens, it only ever expands us, it only ever weaves us closer. It doesn't look like it optically, and we can have beliefs about it, but if we look, it always goes in that direction, right? The river always finds its way to the ocean. Um, Life always is expanding. So we played this game of contraction, but um, just notice always toward the good, always toward more integration, always toward more community, always toward more love, always. And this is why I left the field of psychology, is because we get caught in this loop of trauma when we're going to be processing it over and over and again. It's like, as Oracle says, it's like sucking on poison versus what did it teach me? Like the horrors of some of my family experiences and my ex-husband or whatever, it just launched me into my own alignment, into my own expansion. So consider it's always, always in our service. Everything serves. Taking back our consent from all systems that don't support life. Exactly. 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 And then it's like there's a school shooting. Why would I consent? Why would I send my child or my grandchild to this school? Let me look at alternatives. Let me see what I can teach them. And then it's like the fun of being around your grandchild. Imagine you're his educator, you know, like you get to be like your child again in our native cultures, right? The children and the elders, as Candace says, they belong together. So that's what's happening, right? The dissolution of these middlemen, we're returning to one another, to community, from all systems that don't support life. And I would say, as who posted this today, Eve did, of like every single system is a scam. None of them are supporting life. So we remove our consent, we divest ourselves, we dissolve them, we walk away. They only have the power we give them. You homeschooled my two youngest, but not your oldest. I listen every night. I'm sleeping 5.5 to 6 hours straight for the first time in 30 years. Amazing. She listens to my meditations. There's dozens of them, and they're long. So you got a lot to choose from, and go on my website. I'm so glad to hear that. I love to hear it. Anyway, thank you all. This is so beautiful. Laura, I hope that was helpful. You know, it's just seeing without the veil of fear, and then again, go and heal that part that was shocked. The body, it's like, if we're animals, we don't tell a story. Like, as we got attacked, let's say, that wound, we go lick that wound and we go shake off the adrenaline and we go in a cave and we let that energy be released, right? We howl, we shake, we would do whatever. That's the natural process. But as humans, we have a polite society, so we get traumatized by something like Sandy Hook, and that energy didn't move all the way through, and then the natural progress, the natural process of whatever that is, of to take your child out of the school or whatever it is, um, um, it doesn't occur. So by coming back into the body and finding wherever that little catch is in your system, remembering that is to resolve the trauma, is to let that energy move through. Doc Smith and his spinal alignment is just, you literally put your spine aligned and like just opening that channel, the energy opens and it just moves through the spine. If you give awareness to something, if you put your awareness, you feel into your body, like Sacred Storylines is saying, when she does the meditations, you put that awareness on your belly, let's say, where you have a you have a tension in your belly, put it there, it opens the energy, and the energy just flows. And again, you don't feel it's like, oh, I'm in a story about something that happened, but in this moment, there's nothing actually here, and my body feels safe again. It relaxed like the animal, it softened. And I want to say this, I guess, before I go about all the people who've been the most violent, who've taken the most, who've hurt us the most. They have been the most traumatized. They are the least healed. But just like an animal. I love watching animal videos, right, where you see the time lapse of, like, the animal that was so traumatized, and then a trainer or other dogs or other cats who are safe and calm, they have a calm nervous system, are around that animal, and that animal just slowly adjusts and slowly adjusts and slowly adjusts, and then they get back into alignment, and they are as playful and as fun and as healthy and as vibrant as they were before the trauma. So everybody can heal. And those of us, like our family members, our long lost brothers, the prodigal sons who are out there doing harm, will be brought back into the fold, and they will be healed, and they will be healed by us. And they will just sit at our table, and their nervous system will regulate. They will remember. And so we're going to do that for ourselves, and we're going to do that for each other. We are doing that for each other. So just be in presence, and the her whole nervous system just rewires. It's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember. It's safe. Oh, yeah, I remember. This is not my enemy." We just was this great convergence that is happening, that happened. The convergence happened, and it was so, so fun to watch, um, people like Elon Musk heal and remember. People like Donald Trump heal and remember. All of us healing and remembering, um, and shaking off that old stuff in our system. Not everybody will come, but most will. Most have come. I'm gonna keep speaking in past tense. Most have come, home, and, there's nothing to fear here. There's no threat because there's no opposition, and, just remember Sandy Hook and everything else is a there's a very it's a it's a storyline of fear that gets pumped through and pumped through and pumped through, and that and it's like a and we just keep perpetuating it, but nothing actually happened in front of your eyes. It's a projection. So when we stop projecting threat, the threat stop. So, yeah, remember, feel that there is no threat here. There is never any separation here. You're safe. You're okay. And then your regulated nervous system, your center of gravity, your peace is radiating out, and it's catching. It's catching. It's catching like a good virus. It's so compelling. And so that was how the story started, right? It was the remembrance was so powerful, and the communities of care that were created were so fun that these men couldn't help but give us all their money, attention, time, and labor. They just couldn't help themselves. And then we just party all the time, party all the time. That was what happened. That's the end of the story. In the beginning. All right, y'all. I'm gonna sign off. It was Meg. Okay, good. Using our head, not for thinking, but actually using it physically. Amazing how the spine aligns and awakens the lines. Thanks for the shout out, my friend. Love to see you flow. You are such a flower. A flower. I love that. Therapy times 2 in my lifetime. 67 years old, only gave me the tools. Oh, my phone is dying. My phone is dying. I can see it dying. I'm going to sign off. Bye, everybody. Love, love, love. It's dying slowly. 2 incredible therapists. Love to hear it. Sorry, I can't read all these. I'm trying to read it before it's going to die, but I love you too. And Dr. Meg and all others love you too. Thanks to you, and thank you to that mountain and the tree. Yes, thank you to Mount Shasta. So much love to all y'all. It was a total pleasure. And I'll see you on Substack. I'll see you around. Connect with each other, and we'll talk again soon. Okay. Bye.